Hey guys, today we're talking about decimal concepts, your learning objectives. I can read and write decimals through the hundredths. I can rename fractions as decimals. So we're going to be touching a little bit on the relation between fractions and decimals today. There is a relation. And before we start, I have a nice little reminder of decimal place value down below in our place value chart. Here's our decimal where we say the word and. And remember that we say the decimal part of the number as you would just read it normally, 782. Then you say the place value that last littlest digit is in. So we would say 4 and 782 thousandths. Really emphasize that THS. You want that spit to come out of your mouth. Now, maybe you knew this or maybe you didn't, but fractions and decimals and money all go hand in hand. If you had $1, we would represent that as one whole, or 1 over 1, or just the number 1. If you had a dime, we know that there's 10 dimes in $1, so each dime is 1/10 of $1. And if you have a penny, we know that there's 100 pennies that make up $1. So if you can think of like a penny like a little cube, there's 100 cubes that fit in the flat or the dollar. So each penny is 1/100th of a dollar, shown here both in fraction and decimal format. So we're going to be talking, like I said, more about fractions and decimals today. And if you don't get this right now, that's okay. You'll catch on eventually. We're just starting to see the connection between decimals and fractions here. Let's remind ourselves, before on this slide you saw that I had the flat, I had the long, and I had the little cube. And you know that in the past years we have used the cube to mean 1, the long to mean 10, and the flat to mean 1 whole. So, or 100 I guess I should say. So typically we refer to the 1 flat having 10 longs that go into it, and the 1 long having 10 cubes that go into it, so that in 1 flat we would have 100 little cubes, all right? And that's going to be important today because we're going to be talking about parts of a whole. And you have to ask yourself with fractions and decimals, what is the whole? More on that momentarily. So a reminder, how many longs can we fit in a flat? We can fit 10 in here. So if I were to lay these all out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, there's 10 longs in a flat. And then how many cubes can we fit in a long? There would be 10. And then we'd fit 10, those in there, so you'd have 100 little cubes in a flat. So like I said, you always have to ask yourself, when working with fractions and even decimals, what is the whole? And a fraction is always a fraction of something else. For example, half of an apple, the half is the fraction, the whole is the part, or the whole is the something, 1/5 is the fraction, crayons in a box, the box would be the something. The something is the one or the whole, not H-O-L-E, we spell it W-H-O-L-E, meaning one whole something, it's complete. So if Pete the Prairie Dog ate half of an apple, the half would be the fraction, the whole would be the apple. Here's another example. Mr. Nutty had $5 and spent 3/4 of the $5. The $5 is the something, it is the whole, it's the complete part, and he spent 3/4 of it, that's the fraction. So always ask yourself, what is the whole, because it makes a difference when you write out your fractions and decimals. So if we look at this, what fraction of our whole is 1 long? Our whole here would be the 1 flat. I want to know what fraction of our whole is this 1 long. Well, I know that we have 1 long here, and we have 1/10 of a whole because this is divided into tenths. So the fraction would be 1/10 because 10 longs would make up the flat. We can also write the 1/10 as a decimal, 0.1, 1/10. What fraction of my whole is 1 cube? 1/100th, because there's 100 cubes that make up 1 flat, or we can write the 1/100th of a fraction as the decimal 1/100. 1/100th. Let's try these. Now our whole we're using is the flat. So that's going to be our complete thing that we're going to refer to. What fraction of the whole would be 3 longs? If I were to put 3 longs on here, since 10 makes up a complete set, and I'm only using 3 of them, it would be 3/10. How about if I had 13 cubes? I know that 100 cubes make up the whole, and I used 13 of them to make up part of the whole. So I would say 13/100ths because there's 100 cubes that make up the one whole, and I used 13. How about 4 longs and 2 cubes? This one's tricky because I know that there's 10 longs in one whole. I also know there's 100 little cubes in the whole. I'm going to refer to my smallest part here. So I'm going to have to say 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times 10 is 40 plus 2 would be 42/100ths. So I want to refer to my smallest part. How about 1 flat and 6 cubes? Remember, my flat is the whole. So if I just added on 6 cubes, I'm going to treat this one as my one whole. I'm going to set that off to the side. So how about 6 cubes? Remember, I'm going to refer to my smallest part, but I already have one whole. So this time I would say 1 and 6/100ths. Be careful when you read your decimals. I want to show you the difference. Here, this reads 2/10ths, written like this. This reads 2/100ths, which is written like this. Completely different numbers. This one is way smaller than 2/10ths. Be careful. All right, last shot here. We're going to try to write each fraction as a decimal. 3/10ths, 4/100ths. So I'm going to write the 4 in my hundredths place. 27/100ths. So read the number 27, the 7's in the hundredths place. 7 and 59/100ths. So 7 and 59/100ths. Remember, that kind of looks like a dollar amount. You have 7 whole dollars, or 7 $1 bills, and then 59 cents. It's part of the dollar. 59 pennies. Remember, there's 100 pennies in a dollar, so that could help you remember that too, that there's 59/100ths.